Hey guys, hey, it's Jason Morris here with Real Estate Agents That Really Work. So on today's webinar, what I want to talk about is how to add 20 transactions to your business, how to give you some strategies and tips to help you get there, help you either if you're not at 20 transactions a year, these strategies, these tips, these activities I'm going to do are going to help you get there. If you are already there, there's going to be some strategies, some tips and stuff in here that's going to help you to add another 20 to your transactions and add more money to your business. Guys, so we got 12 activities that you really need to focus on. And I've got a lot I want to go over here. I know I only scheduled you guys for an hour, and I don't want to take more time than that. So let's jump right in here. Guys, the first thing that you guys need to do, that you guys are out there, is you guys need to set up your schedule. I see this over and over for agents where they don't know what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. A lot of agents in our industry, what they do is they show up on Monday morning and they just hope things are going to happen, right? They do call duty, they do desk duty, they do all this stuff, but they never really set up a schedule. We're the only industry, well, we're one of the only industries that people get into this business because they want more freedom. But the problem with having more freedom is nobody's telling you where you need to be and when you need to be there and what you actually need to do during your day and how to be successful in the real estate business. So one of the things that I've seen is agents just kind of wander around and they just kind of hope things are going to happen. Guys, the number one thing I can tell you that changed my business and changed the way I operated, made me less stressed, made me less running around. We all hate this thing where we're, you're going to something with your kids or you're doing something with your spouse or your significant other. Next thing you know, the phone rings and you have to rush out the door because you have to show a house down the street, or you forgot about something, or only God knows what. So the number one activity, number one strategy I'm going to give you today is to set up your own schedule. And here's how you do it. I'm going to give you a brief rundown on how to set up your schedule. Okay, what you guys need to do, the first thing that you guys need to do when you're setting up your schedule is you need to talk with your significant other. Okay, and the number one thing you need to put in it is your family time. And here's how you do this. What goes into number one here? What goes into family time? Okay, if you have kids that you have to take them to school, you have to pick them up, you have to take them to soccer practice, whatever it is. More than likely, the school gives you some sort of schedule. I mean, at least 90 days, probably for the whole school year. But I would think, worst case scenario, you guys need to at least build your schedule for the next 30 days. I mean, that's worst case, right? Know what you're going to do. What is your significant other? Where are they expecting you to be? And what are they expecting you to do at what time with the family? Because there's nothing worse than setting a listing appointment at 2 p.m. and realizing that you have to pick up your kids or you have to be somewhere that's a family obligation at 3. Because what always happens, and this is the thing that I think that agents, we struggle with the most, is what always happens when family obligations and business obligations collide is it's gonna cause stress at home and it's gonna cause stress at the office, right? So the first thing you can do is you can put your family time in your schedule. This is, kids soccer games, kids football games, dance recitals, things like that. What are you doing with your family? What family obligations do you have? Lay those out in your schedule. If you have to take the kids to school on Tuesdays at 8:30, then you can't schedule yourself to start making calls at 8 a.m., right? But you still need to schedule yourself to make calls, right? And we'll get to that in just a second. But the first thing that goes into your schedule is your family time. Because when your business life and your family life collide, something's going to have to give. Unfortunately for a lot of us, sometimes it's the family gives and you start having a lot of problems there. But something's going to suffer, right? So put your family time in first. That's number one. Number two, your business commitments. I believe this is really important to put in your schedule. Now I put here networking events, but that's not the only thing I'm talking about when I talk about business commitments. Okay, you need to put things in your schedule. Your business commitments are things like your continuing education classes, training classes that you want to go to, coaching calls. Like, you wouldn't believe how many agents subscribe to my group coaching, and they only listen to the recorded calls. They're never on the live calls, because about 50% of my people in group coaching are on the live calls. The other 50% listen to the recordings because they don't schedule around it. But how much more value could they have if they were on that live call listening and able to ask questions and able to participate there? So put your business commitments in there. If you're going to networking events, you go to chamber events, realtor events, whatever it is, go ahead and put those in your calendar, because those are non-negotiable items. Meetings with your accountant, things like that, non-negotiable business items. These are things that you can't change the time for, like a doctor's appointment, but business commitments. Number 3, for you guys to be successful, for you guys to go out and get more listings and to do more business. And I know not everybody listening to this call works with sellers. For you guys that kind of follow me, that I prefer a seller-heavy business over a buyer-heavy business. But number 3 thing you need to do is you need to schedule prospecting time. Now, if you're looking for listings, and that's what a lot of my group coaching focuses on, is going out and getting more listings, low cost to no cost lead solutions for listings. If you're going out there to get more listings, you need to set that time aside that you're going to call for sale owners, that you're going to call expireds, that you're going to call your sphere of influence, things like that. Then you need to, if you're working with buyers in your buyer-heavy business, you still need to set that time aside that you're going to be prospecting, and you're going to be calling through your buyer leads, emailing your buyer leads, following up with them. Guys, for a lot of you guys out there, I see agents posting this in groups. They're using software products and stuff like Conversion and things like that. And people say, well, how do you contact them? They say, oh, I just let the system do this for me. I promise you guys, if you are letting the system follow up with these people for you, and you're not actually spending time prospecting them and actually doing live human touches, you are losing business from those leads you're generating. And we all know leads cost a lot of money. You guys are losing money. You're spending money on leads, and you're losing deals because you're not actually picking up the phone and calling anybody. Typically the buyer, how buyers pick agents is they pick the agent that, other than the agent they know, they pick the agent they trust the most, they like the most, that's giving them the most information. In a typical perfect world, that's what they're choosing the agent they're working on with. And we all have run into situations where a buyer goes out there, they're looking on the internet, they don't just register on our website, they register on 10 websites. They registered on 10 websites yesterday, And if you're not calling that person and you're not making that human connection with them, you're probably not going to be the agent that's going to do business with them, So, but also, you need to set that time aside to prospect, to call for sale owners and expireds. Because here's the thing. If you just say, hey, I'm going to get to it later, I'm going to make an hour of calls and I'm going to do it later. Once it gets 6 o'clock, 6:30 at my house, man, I'm probably not going to do anything. We're going to eat dinner. We're going to hang out, watch TV. I'm going to hold our baby and play with our baby or something. But, 5:30, 6 o'clock, I'm kind of done. I don't want to, sometimes 7 o'clock, I don't want to talk to nobody. If you do not schedule your prospecting time, you will not prospect. I mean, that is a fact. Guys, I like to schedule my prospecting time. This is a tip when doing your schedule. I like to schedule it first thing in the morning. And this is the reason. Number 1, you haven't had a lot of distractions to get into your day. Okay, you haven't had, anything crazy yet happen typically. I like to schedule it at 8 o'clock, so I'm on the phone at 8. And I have a lot of energy then. I have a lot of, it's a lot easier for me to focus, and there's not been anything that like distracts me, because, we all have this. We all have this happen where all of a sudden our phone rings, we answer it. It's some crazy question or stupid question or something somebody has, and, we get upset about it, and then for the rest of the day, we kind of focus on those things that we're upset about, and then it breaks our mindset, I believe that your schedule should be a routine that you do every day, and you should set up rituals around getting started, whether it's, I mean, my typical routine is getting up 6 o'clock in the morning, making coffee, you know, I usually like to listen to something or read something kind of motivational, I believe that one of the most powerful things we can do is we can set up rituals for ourselves, and even prospecting rituals that put you in the state where you're ready to start making calls, whether it's listening to music, whether it's listening to that one song, turning on, Black Eyed Peas or, Pitbull or something that puts you in the state of mind where you're just ready to start going right now. Guys, we have to schedule our prospecting time. Other than family time and business time, business commitments, those networking commitments, those things that will not change for you, Other than that, guys, prospecting time and looking for business is the most important activity that you guys can do. So next thing we need to put on our schedule that we need to make sure we need to do, and I think this needs to be a separate item for you, because I think this is one of the most important things you can do. Other than the initial call, the next most important thing you can do is follow up. If you don't do the initial call, you can't follow up. I mean, the first call is number one, but you have to schedule prospecting time. I'll tell you guys, there's one of those little memes going around out there that talks about sales, and it talks about 80% of sales are done after the 8th call. I strongly believe this. Chet Holmes, if you guys don't know who Chet Holmes was, he actually he worked for Charlie Munger, and he ran a lot of the sales divisions for Berkshire Hathaway companies. He's one of the top at the time, he's one of the top sales managers in the world. He wrote a book called The Ultimate Sales Machine. In The Ultimate Sales Machine, he said that their typical buyer for a high-end item, they had to make a minimum of 6 to 8 calls to them for that person to make the decision to buy. So what I believe that means, I mean, this is one of the most successful companies in the country. And if they are saying that for their studies, and they are saying that for luxury items, 6 to 8 follow-ups, in the real estate industry, we are selling the most expensive item that a person is probably going to purchase in their lifetime. Don't you guys think that we need to make more than 6 to 8 follow-up calls to make them decide to work with us? The number 5 thing to put in your schedule is everything else, okay? This is your scheduling your paperwork. I like to block out some appointment times for myself, but I had to block out appointment times so I know that at 2 o'clock I've got a place in my schedule for appointments. But guys, you need to make your schedule, and you need to take and stick to your schedule. Be very, very protective over it. And I guarantee you, if you stick to a schedule that is focusing on prospecting and focusing on income producing activities, which for you guys that this is the first time you're ever hearing me, there's only 2 ways we can really make money in the real estate business. We either have to work with buyers or we have to work with sellers, right? So if you're focusing your activities and your daily activities, your daily actions on working with buyers and working with sellers and looking for appointments, that's our job. If we don't have appointments to go on, our job is to look for an appointment to go on. If you just follow your schedule, set that schedule and follow it 75% of the time, right? Then you're going to see an increase in your business, and you're going to see an increase in the activity that you have doing. Daily activities are going to produce results, right? So, guys, the second thing is daily actions. Daily actions equal results. Okay, we're in a business where typically the results that we're getting today are not from what we're doing today. The money we're making today and this week, the closings we have this week, this month, are not from activities we've typically done this month. Typically, they're from activities that we done 60 to 90 days ago. In most markets across the country, even though we are having some really hot markets, but typically a well-priced listing, you're going to list the house, and this is best case scenario in a normal market. You're going to list the house. It's going to take 20 to 30 days to get a contract, right? Then typically it's going to take 30 to 45 days to get a contract in a normal market, then it's going to take 30 to 45 days to actually close, with somebody getting financing. So for us to take a listing today, more than likely we're not going to get paid on that listing we take today for 60 to 90 days. And then we had to do some activities before today to get that appointment for that listing we went on today. So we're in a business where everything we do is a delayed reaction. For you to get where you want to be on January 1st and for you to start 2018 on the right track, you need to start doing the daily activities today to put you in the position to start getting results on January 1st, right? So guys, daily actions are going to equal results for you. You got to do it every day. It's kind of like working out. If you're just going to follow your schedule once every now and then, and you're just going to prospect once every now and then you're probably wasting your time. It's like getting on the treadmill every now and then. You're probably not going to see a lot of results from getting on the treadmill every now and then or getting on the stair climber every now and then. But if you started taking daily action, started watching your diet daily, started exercising daily, it wouldn't be long, 60, 90 days. You'd see a lot of results. Real estate's going to be is the same way for you guys. So number 3. Now your schedule's going to do a lot of this for you. And we've all been guilty of this. It's the middle of the day. We're kind of bored. We don't really know what to do, or we don't really have anything to do. So, we go walk around the mall, or we meet a random person for lunch. They have nothing to do with our business. And, we have a 2 or 3 hour lunch, to be more productive, to get more transactions in your day, you need to remove the options from your day. And the way that you do this is you have a schedule. And the way that your schedule meets this requirement or helps you do this is if you don't have an appointment, your job is to go look for an appointment, right? So if it's 11, 12 o'clock, you've went and ate lunch at 1 o'clock and you don't have anything to do the rest of the day, you don't have an appointment to go on, you're not meeting a buyer, you're not meeting a seller, your job or our job in the real estate industry is to look for a buyer or seller to go and meet, right? So and a lot of agents don't do this. They don't do the activities they need to do to get the results that they are wanting. So number 4, one of the things that we need to do and one of the activities we need to focus on is removing distractions from your day. Guys, I'll tell you, one of the most important things that I've done in my day, and one of the most important things I've done in my life in real estate business, was I changed my voicemail. And my voicemail, if you call me, it says I'll be in appointments till 11 a.m. If you need immediate assistance, you can send me an email or you can text me. Okay. Now, here's the reason I'd done that, was because every day I'd get started prospecting, or I'd get started with my schedule. Then all of a sudden I'd have all these distractions. I'd have some friend of mine calling me, some random person calling me, and sometimes I'd have my mom calling me. I'd have somebody calling me and they'd call me over and over again. And the thing was, I was busy, but in the past, I've always answered the phone for them. So the hardest thing that you guys are going to have to do to stick to your schedule and get the results you're looking for is you need to figure out how to remove those distractions. And one of the things that I feel like you can use that's very useful is using your voicemail, telling them, hey, I'm in a meeting until this time. And technically you are. If it is on your schedule, it's a meeting. It might be a meeting with yourself or a meeting to prospect, but it is a meeting that is on your schedule. You need to remove the distractions from your day. You don't let distractions get in the way of you doing business. And we've all been guilty of this. We've all been, there's some agents out there I talk to that have talked to me about coaching. They've talked to me about one-on-one coaching and group coaching and stuff. And I talk to them about what they have going on. And honestly, they just have too much going on to go out there and really do any business. You have to be very protective of your schedule. Your schedule, you guys think about this. If you had any job other than real estate sales, we're talking about anything other than going out there and selling real estate. If you were working if you're working at the mall, you're working at a doctor's office, you're working anywhere else. If you were taking personal calls while at work, that would probably be a problem. Okay, if you were leaving and going on a 2 or 3 hour lunch, or you're leaving in the middle of the day and going and just hanging out, or spending all day playing Xbox, there would probably be a problem at your workplace. You know, one of the things that I find amazing in the real estate industry is we cannot work on Monday, not work on Tuesday, decide we're going to sleep late on Wednesday and not really do much on Wednesday, and then Thursday show up to the office and everything's fine. But if we worked at any other job and we didn't show up Monday, we could not show up Monday. You know, if you've been there for a little while, you could not show up Monday, not really have an excuse, just call and say, hey, sorry, I can't make it today. And it would probably be okay. But if you didn't show up Wednesday, right, and you didn't have some sort of excuse, then you didn't show up again if you didn't show up Tuesday and you didn't have an excuse, then you didn't show up Wednesday and you use the same excuse that you use for not prospecting and not following your schedule in the real estate business. On Thursday, they would probably be doing interviews for your job. You know, and a lot of us don't understand, for the type of money that we make and the type of money that we want to make, what our goals are. A lot of us have unusually high goals. They're way higher than what the average income is. However, we don't want to work the hours and work the business to reach those goals. So you have to be very protective of your schedule. And number 5, guys, this kind of leads into focus. I'll tell you, one of the things for me, and this helps me on a daily basis, honestly, to figure out what I need to do every day sometimes, is I review my goals daily. Now, I believe that we should be tracking our goals. We should be tracking our numbers. We should be tracking how many days we prospected, how many calls did we make, how many appointments did we set, how many listings did we take, how many contracts are we getting. We should be tracking and reviewing everything going on in our business. And this is for all of your goals, really. You should be reviewing them daily. I follow everything that I'm doing daily. I've got a spreadsheet now, and honestly, nobody probably understands my spreadsheet except for me, but I look at the spreadsheet daily. It's actually on my phone. It's in Google Docs. I can access it where it is. Sometimes I look at it more than daily. Sometimes when I'm doing things, I'll pull it out and look at it, or sometimes I'll be listening to stuff. I make sure that everything I do during at least my work day is going to take me one step closer to the goals that I have. It's so easy for us to get distracted. That sometimes we'll do things. Sometimes we'll subscribe to lead sources. Sometimes we'll agree to go out and do something that doesn't fall in line with the goals and the things that we want. So it's really important that you review your goals daily and review all of your numbers daily. Number 6, listen to positive motivational material. I feel like this is one of the most important things that we can do in any part of our life, is work on ourselves, right? And there's so much material that's available out there. I believe a couple of different things. I believe that we all should be in some sort of coaching program. I'm always in a coaching, personal development program, something. I'm always working through a program. I'm always listening to a new program. I believe that every one of us should do this in our lives. I believe that the more we work on ourselves, the better we're going to do, right? Jim Rohn has a quote that he says is something like, we should be working on ourselves harder than we're working on our business. And I truly believe this. If you're steady putting positive information and a positive message into your mind and into your life, then sooner or later you're going to have to start having stuff come out that's positive, right? I know that in the times that you need it, a lot of us think that we need to go listen to Zig Ziglar or we need to listen to Tony Robbins when we're having a bad day. The truth is we need to be listening to Tony Robbins. We need to listen to Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn. And there's a lot of them. That's just a few. I like Les Brown. We need to listen to these people even when we're having a good day. Sometimes I can listen to stuff too. I can listen to a recording today, and then I can listen to it again in a week and I get a completely different message from it. And I'm a big believer in affirmations. Doing affirmations for you guys that have never done it. When I first heard about it, I thought back to the old Saturday Night Live skit with Stuart Smalley, sitting in the mirror saying that, I'm a great person and stuff like that. But affirmations, I learned this from Tony Robbins. When you start doing affirmations, even though, sometimes they may not be true today, sometimes you may be saying affirmations around you being happy and you're truly not happy. And I know that sometimes when you first start these things, it can feel almost like you're lying to yourself. However, what this does is it sets off your reticular activating system, your RAS. And what this RAS is a filter in our mind. And how it works is, let's say, for example, you go out there and you drive a brand new red Mercedes and you see it at the dealership, you get in it, you fall in love with it, and you feel like, man, I've never seen one like this. This is the nicest looking car I've ever seen. Then all of a sudden, you're driving around town and stuff, and it's like, man, you see one on every street corner, a red Mercedes, exactly like the one that you liked. What happens is in your mind, because you've said these things in your mind all of a sudden feels like these things are important for you. Like, I like affirmations about abundance because I truly feel like there's so much business out there. And I'm truly a positive person that believes in abundance. I believe there's more business out there than what me and you can do together. A great example of that is me and Laura. For several years, we worked in the same real estate office. We actually, we were using the same lead sources, literally calling the same list of people. And we rarely went, I think in 2 or 3 years, we might have went on 2 or 3 listing appointments at the same house. There's truly so much business out there that me and you can sit side by side calling the same list every day. There's going to be people that you connect to that aren't going to give me the time of day, and there's going to be people that I connect to that I list today that, maybe they were mean to you on the phone yesterday. But listening to motivational material and steady putting motivational material in your mind is going to make you feel more positive, and it's going to give you a more positive outlook on life and a more positive outlook on your day, and you're going to build mental toughness. And that's the thing that we need in the business. This business isn't physically hard, it's mentally hard and mentally tough. Guys, the rest of this we're going to work more on some actual real estate skills and mindsets that you need to build. Number 7, one of the things that a lot of agents don't do and they need to do is we need to identify our lead sources. This is one of the most important activities that you need to focus on with your business, is to figure out where your business is coming from or where your business is going to come from, right? A lot of agents are showing up at their office every day and just hoping things happen. They get up in the morning, they watch the news, and they drink coffee and hope that somebody calls them, hope that somebody sees their post on Facebook, hope that something happens to where maybe they can go out and sell a house this week or this month or in this quarter, Guys, the thing that we need to do is you need to identify your lead sources. Where is your business going to come from? For you guys that listen to me and follow me, I'm a big believer in RedX. I love their products. I've been using them for over 10 years. If you don't have any lead sources, RedX offers a lot of options. And if you call them and tell them you're in my group, Real Estate Agents That Really Work, or tell them that Jason Morris sent you, they will waive the $150 setup fee. You can subscribe to For Sale Owners for $30. You got expired. They have a lot of different sources that you can look at. You can go to RedX, JasonMorrisRedX.com, and look at that. I'm also a big believer in ZBuyer. ZBuyer offers my group, Real Estate Agents That Really Work, offers some special discounts. Actually, they offer an exclusive discount. It's the best discount that you can get from them. Just call them, tell them that Jason Morris sent you, and you're the Real Estate Agents That Really Work. But you guys need to have lead sources and need to have identifiable lead sources that you can work on daily and track daily. Guys, number 8. I hear agents talking about this all the time. But guys, one of the most important things that you guys can do is practice your scripts and dialogues. And the reason you want to practice your scripts and dialogues, the power that comes from having a script is using the same script over and over again. once you get out there and you start using the same script over and over again, you're going to start noticing that you're only going to get a few answers to each question, and you're only going to get, once you start using the same script, you're going to start getting the same answers, you're going to start getting the same objections, you're going to learn how to anticipate these answers and objections, and you're going to learn how to overcome them. Think about this. How much would your business change if you practiced just these 3 objections over and over again? I don't want to work with a real estate agent. I don't want to pay a real estate commission, or bring me a buyer and I'll pay you 3%. I believe those are probably the 3 biggest objections we get. It doesn't matter what market you're in. And what if you started practicing those 3 times a week and got really, really good at overcoming those on the phone with people? But guys, I could actually do this whole hour on scripts, dialogues, objections in your presentation. But guys, everything you need to do needs to be written out, documented, and it needs to be practiced over and over again. If you're using the same system, and this is one of the things that I've done in my group coaching, is I talk about this. If you're using the same system over and over again and something's not working, it's easy for you to go back and figure out what it is. If you're just showing up and just doing whatever you feel like every day, then you're never going to be able to figure out what that problem is. Doctors don't decide, hey, we're going to do heart surgery, and they don't just get in there and kind of fumble around until they figure things out. They have a set system. This is what we do. Step 1, step 2, step 3. In the real estate business, your business is going to definitely change. I promise you your business will change if you start treating your business that same way. When I get a seller lead, this is what I do. Step 1, step 2, I talk to them on the phone. I gauge their motivation. I send them our pre-listing package. I text them to make sure they got it. I follow up the next day to see if they have questions. Your business needs to be step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. This is the presentation that you use on all the appointments. This is how you overcome objections. This is how you go over your paperwork. Guys, I'll tell you one thing that I've seen. This was several years ago working with some new agents. I was going on some listing appointments with them. And, I know that your broker charge goes down through paperwork with you, and you guys listening to this are from all over the country. But guys, your broker charge goes over the paperwork with you, word for word. And then lots of times what you're doing is you're going out here to these clients and you're going over it word for word. And you know how to read it to them, but you don't know how to effectively explain it to them so they feel comfortable with it. A lot of us forget that, these listing agreements and these buyer agreements and different things like that, they're actually legal documents. And for the average general public out there, man, my mom never looks at legal documents. My grandma never, sits around reading legal documents. Even though, your average client out there, if they've ever bought and sold a house before, chances are they've never done it but once or twice. The really experienced clients you're going to work with, maybe they've bought and sold 3 to 5 houses. But even then, it was different times, different states, different paperwork. I mean, the state of South Carolina, I think we've changed our paperwork 3 times in the last 12 or 18 months. Guys, you need to be able to effectively and easily go over paperwork with your clients, and you need to do the same thing every time. That way you can start anticipating their objections. If you've ever went to a listing appointment, went through the paperwork, you saw the people's eyes rolling back in the back of their head, and then you get to the end of it and they say, we're going to have to think about this. It's more than likely because of the way you went over the paperwork, and it just seemed really complicated to them at that point. Guys, the next thing that you guys can do, number 9, building a follow-up plan for your business. Make a written follow-up plan on how you're going to follow up with leads. Now, we talked about a little bit ago, it's really important that you make those initial follow-ups, and it's really important that you schedule prospecting time in your schedule to make those initial calls. However, most of your business is probably going to be done between the 10th, the 14th, sometimes the 18th call. What you guys need is a written follow-up plan. And I do this with my group coaching clients. We have all the recordings in the archives there. But you need a written follow-up plan. That way, when you talk to somebody that you talk to them on the phone, you know that they're motivated. You know they want to sell. They've got a real reason to sell, And by real reason, it's not one of these people that are going, hey, we just thought we'd throw it on Craigslist and see what happens. By real reason, I mean they have some sort of motivating factor where they need to sell this home. Either they can't afford it, they're upsizing, they're downsizing, they're moving for a job, they're moving for a school district, they have a real reason why they want to move. Those people need to go into a follow-up plan. If you don't set an appointment with them today, they need to go into your follow-up plan, and you need to have a written follow-up plan to know what happens on the first follow-up, what happens on the 8th follow-up, what happens on the 10th follow-up, what happens if it's been 30 days and you still hadn't set an appointment with them. You have to have a written follow-up plan. Guys, number 10, this will change your business if you schedule prospecting time. And I know we've already talked about schedule, but I thought this was important enough to put it in here. If you schedule prospecting time every day you work, okay, every work day, every day that you're working the real estate business, every day you have on your schedule to work, you have at least an hour of prospecting time scheduled. Okay, and the reason I say that you need to do this every day is because if you don't, what happens? This is even for me. I've been making calls for over 12 years now and setting appointments. If I take 2-3 weeks off, I take a week off, man, when I get back on the phone, I'm a little bit rusty. You know, I'm not responding as quick. I'm not as quick overcoming their objections. I'm not as quick and aggressive setting the appointment. Guys, if you start prospecting every day, now it's going to be tough. It's a muscle you have to build. If you start prospecting every day, you're going to start noticing very quickly. Prospecting every day, role playing every day, and practicing your scripts and dialogues, you're going to start noticing you're getting better on the phone. It's just going to start being easier. You know, it's just like I used that analogy a little bit ago about getting on the treadmill. If you get on the treadmill once a month, it's going to really suck. You get on the stair climber once a month, it's going to really suck. You start getting on the stair climber every day, 3, 4, or 5 days a week, you're going to start noticing all of a sudden you got a little bit more energy. Everything's a little bit more easier. A little easier, you're a little bit stronger. You know, this is the same way. You're going to start noticing you're a little quicker with your response on the phone. You're a little better with your response on the phone. Your tonality is going to get a little bit better, you know, if you prospect every day that you work. Every day that you work, you need to be looking for new business. Your prospecting is the lifeline of your business, and you need to develop that sort of mindset. Number 11. Your sphere of influence. And guys, I've been really, guys, we're going to do some question and answer at the end. If you have any questions, go ahead and start putting them. If you're listening on Zoom, go ahead and put it in the question and answer box. If you're listening on Facebook, go ahead and start asking your questions, and I'll get to them at the end. One of the things that we all neglect is our sphere of influence and keeping in touch with our sphere of influence. And for some reason, we'll do business with somebody, or we know somebody, and we just never call them back after the transaction's done. But we really like them, and they really liked us, and you know, we just don't keep up with them. Guys, your sphere of influence is so important to the future of your business. I've got one client that I've done over 100 transactions with, and he refers me people too. You know, your sphere of influence is really, really important to stay connected with them. And the great thing about 2017 is we have one of the best sphere of influence tools available, and it's Facebook. Guys, you wouldn't believe how many agents will request to join my group, Real Estate Agents That Really Work. And I click on their profile, and it says nowhere on it that they are a real estate agent. So how do their friends know that they're a real estate agent? Facebook is fantastic. Now, I'm not saying that you get off this webinar and start spamming your Facebook page with real estate stuff. However, your Facebook page is a fantastic way to keep up with people, keep in touch with them, message them, you know, without actually picking up the phone, message them and say, hey, Tom, how's things going? Or, hey, Tom, I saw you bought a new boat. Hey, I saw you guys had a new child. I saw you got a new dog, whatever it is. It's fantastic for working your sphere of influence. Guys, we need to be setting time aside to work our sphere of influence. And sometimes, you know, you sit there on your phone, you know, for 2 hours playing on Facebook, you feel like you're not productive. But you need to have a plan to work your sphere of influence, because it doesn't matter what stage of the business you are in. There are people that know you. There are people that like you. There are people that want to work with you. They will forget, though, that you're a real estate agent. I'm going to tell you guys a quick story here. I've got a cousin that I saw. I mean, this is a family member, and a fairly close family member. I see her at my grandma's house. For every big thing, Christmas, Mother's Day, things like that, Thanksgiving. This is a family member, I grew up with. Okay, so she gets married. She moves to New York. They make a ton of money. They decide they want to buy a vacation house here. They bought a $500,000 house. They didn't buy from me. And honestly, at the time, I didn't really care. My mom was a little upset about it. She felt like they should have bought the house for me. My mom asked him, hey, why didn't y'all buy from Jason? They didn't know I was a real estate agent. I never thought that I needed to tell my friends and family that I sold real estate. I mean, this was like 2004. I never thought that, hey, I need to tell my friends and family I sell real estate. And so I lost. I mean, that was probably a $12,000 to $15,000 commission that I lost. And my story even gets better. So 3 or 4 years down the road, they're selling the house. They're getting divorced. They're selling the house. And guys, they sell the house and they don't use me again to sell the house. And, there again, I mean, I was like, damn, what did I do to you guys? And here's the thing. They didn't know that I sold real estate in that area still where their house was. It had been 4 or 5 years since, they knew I sold real estate. I just didn't talk about selling real estate, at family gatherings and stuff. So what I've had to learn is sometimes with my sphere of influence, sometimes you have to ask them what they're doing. Hey, what are you guys doing now? Oh yeah, I'm still selling real estate. Hey guys, so just that one person, I probably lost somewhere between $25,000 and $30,000 worth of income, just with one person over the course of 4 or 5 years, And guys, it's so important that we keep up with our sphere of influence, because there are people out there that like you, that would work with you. Just sometimes they forget that you're a real estate agent. Guys, I've got another tip here, and this one I feel like I'm probably going to step on some toes here, and some of you guys might not like this, but guys, if you want to add 20 more transactions to your business, or you're struggling to get to those 20 transactions, sometimes you guys are going to have to work on the weekends, and sometimes you're going to have to work in the afternoons. And I want to tell you one thing that really will change your business if you start doing. And I'm not saying that you work 7 days a week and try to work 24 hours a day, but if you're out there and you're prospecting, and I know there's a lot of agents that are in tough markets and tough parts of the country where there's tremendous competition nowadays, and the market's just on fire. Guys, one thing I've learned is sometimes those people that you're following up with that you just can't seem to get on the phone again, the reason you can't get them on the phone again is because they're busy. Because, I mean, let's be honest, all of us have really busy lives. All of us have really busy lives. All of us have stuff that we're doing. There are people right now that I'm sure that they're trying to sell me a product or something, and I really want their product or whatever they're selling. Problem is, man, they call me at the worst time. They call me when I'm really busy. And then when I get home at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock at night, I'm sitting there not doing anything. I don't think to call, hey, I need to call so-and-so. They had a really cool website that they offered me, or they had something really good that I wanted. But if you guys will start scheduling prospecting time for a couple hours in the afternoon, like 1 day a week, and maybe 2 weekend days a month. I'm not talking about prospecting every Saturday and Sunday. I'm talking about maybe prospecting a couple hours on Sunday afternoon, a couple hours on Saturday morning. One of the things that I've learned is people on Sunday afternoon, people are just hanging out lots of times and they're getting ready to go to work on Monday. On Saturday morning, people sleep a little bit late, but they hang around the house usually in the mornings. Usually people aren't up and out as early and stuff. But if you guys start prospecting maybe 2 hours every other weekend, and then an afternoon every week, maybe Wednesday afternoon or Thursday afternoon or whatever it may be, I promise you it's going to change your business. You're going to get people on the phone that you normally wouldn't get on the phone, right? So sometimes to get to the goals we want, and sometimes to the amount of business we want, sometimes we need to work on the weekends, and sometimes we need to figure out afternoons that will work. We're in a business that typically we're working and people are contacting us when they aren't working, so that's one of the really, really important tips and a really important strategy for you guys is to start making a few calls on the weekends, start making a few calls in the afternoons. And guys, I got one other thing that I think will change your business and help you get more deals done, possibly even this year. This is a fantastic time to do this. Guys, schedule your price reductions. A lot of people don't realize this, and a lot of agents are scared to call their sellers and say, hey guys, we're not really getting any activity, or based on the feedback we're getting, maybe we need to adjust your price. I feel like we need to adjust your price. What would you guys like to do? It's really that easy. And sometimes, guys, sometimes getting that price adjustment, even if it's $500, sometimes even getting that $500 price adjustment, what that's going to do is it's going to re-syndicate your listing through all the websites. It's going to go out on everybody's e-alerts again. It's going to show up on websites as a price reduced property, even dropping $500 in most MLSs. But scheduling price reductions will make you money. So guys, I know that we've had a lot of people on the call today and a lot of people listening in from different places and calling in on Zoom and stuff. But guys, one thing I want to offer you guys today is I'm doing 65% off on my group coaching. In my group coaching, we go down through a lot of the things in detail, and it's a lot. We went over a lot of stuff today really quick in an hour. My group coaching, it focuses on low cost and no cost lead solutions and ways for you to get business. I'm a big believer in that we need to work on our business, and we need to work on our business in a way that we have as little overhead as we can possibly have, and our business is profitable. My group coaching focuses on these systems and strategies. Focus on your listing systems. We focus on your scripts, your dialogues, your follow-up systems, your plans. Focus on strategies for your sphere of influence, Facebook, getting started in the business. And we do a live call once a week. It's on Thursdays at 11 a.m. And then throughout the week, we do some live role playing in the week periodically. And then I'm available there in a private group for questions, answers, and anything that I can help you guys with. If you'd like to sign up, it's 65% off right now. Just go to jasonmorrisgroup.com, use the coupon code SYSTEMS65. You guys that are listening, do you have any questions about stuff I've went over today? Any questions about my group coaching? Anything that I can help you guys with? I think we got a few minutes here. I didn't quite take up an hour on you. See, I think we had a little bit of a lag. Well, guys, if I can help you with your business, if you have any questions about my group coaching, just send me a message through Facebook. And today it's 65% off. Just go to jasonmorrisgroup.com. Use the coupon code, all capital letters, SYSTEMS65. Hey, I really appreciate you guys being on the call today. If I can help you, just send me a message through Facebook. Have a great day.